Good evening. I call to order the Newman City Council regular meeting, July 11th, 2023. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I'd like to start off this evening just giving thanks to God. I believe that prayer works. And one of the council members was on my mind and my heart all week, and he's been in my prayers. And to show you that how prayer works, he's smiling, he's in good health, and just keep him and his family in prayer. God knows his name. Come with me in prayer. Father God, we just thank you so much for this evening that you have blessed us to come here and take care of business for the city of Newman. Let all our minds be cleared on other things other than the business for the city of Newman. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Roll call. Councilmember McDonald?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball?
Here.
Councilmember Tomlinson?
Here.
Councilmember Pimentel?
Here.
Mayor Graham? Here. Item 5, declarations of conflicts of interest. Are there any tonight? All right, seeing none. Item 6, ceremonial matters. There are none tonight. Report from closed session. For item A, there's no reportable action. For item B, direction given to proceed with litigation if needed and issue is not resolved in a timely manner. Item number 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. Anybody wishing to speak may get up and go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Anthony Canella, and I'm a principal with North Star Engineering, and we're located at 620 12th Street in Modesto. While it's hard to tell from the description on the council's agenda, I understand that the purpose of this workshop is to discuss generally the council's ideas of how to plan for residential growth in the city of Newman, and that this workshop may be the first of many such workshops. Therefore, I'm here to request that the council place an item on a future agenda, potentially for August 8th, 2023, for the council to learn the background of a proposed residential project my company has been working on called Agriana, and for the council to provide direction to staff on how to proceed with the development application. This project is located in planning areas 1, 2, and 10 of the City of Newman's general plan and will provide much needed housing to the community. The developer, Mike Walker, who is also the developer of Hearthstone, has spent thousands of dollars as part of the application process, only to be told recently by the staff that the city has no interest in continuing the project. However, we believe it is imperative to discuss the project with the council, so the council, as the policy-making body of the city, can be better apprised of the background facts, the apparent stalemate, and make an informed decision. After spending more than 3 years complying with the staff's request for additional documents, studies, and information, we suddenly found out about this workshop on July 3rd. We therefore have not had a sufficient amount of time to prepare for a presentation to the council about the project. If the council would put an item on the agenda for August 8th or soon thereafter, we would have the time to discuss the project in more detail and describe the process that has led us to this point. Thank you for your time and attention. I look forward to discussing the project with you if you would be so inclined to put it on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cannell.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, community, thank you. Kevin Klein, just want to give you all a quick update from our office, from the office of Congressman John Duarte. Earlier this month, Congressman Duarte joined his Democrat and Republican colleagues in reintroducing the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. America relies on hardworking men and women who help put our food on our table. These individuals protect our food security, provide working families high quality, affordable food. The Farm Work Modernization Act helps our valley by protecting our workforce, ensures the future of our farms, and helps bring working families out of the shadows. Congressman Duarte is proud to join both Republicans and Democrats alike in helping reintroduce the critical piece of legislation. We're also very excited to announce that our office will be hosting the Congressional App Challenge, the CAC, an app competition for students in middle and high school. The CAC accepts computer programs or apps written in programming language on any platform such as a desktop, PC, mobile device, or the web. And the challenge submission portal is now open, and that is going to be, the website is congressionalappchallenge.us, congressionalappchallenge.us. Students can register and submit their applications until November 1st of 2023. The competition is to open to all students who meet the eligibility requirements, regardless of coding experience. And we strongly encourage students of all skill to participate and learn how to create their own apps. Winners will be selected by a panel of judges drawn from the local community and honored by Congressman Duarte. And the apps will be eligible to be featured on the U.S. Capitol building, on their House website, house.gov, and on a Congressional App Challenge website. We were also able to hold our mobile office hours today with Assemblymember Alanisa's staff, and we will be continuing to do those the second Tuesday of every month at Pizza Plus from 5:30 to 6:30. And we were able to speak to many constituents today that had some concerns, so we were able to talk to them about that. So we welcome everyone to come in. Any federal issues that we can help out with agencies, that's what we're here for. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Abby. I'm a representative with Assemblymember Juan Alanisa's office. Just a quick legislative update. We got AB 1467 signed into law by Governor Newsom last week. The bill requires youth sports organizations to provide access to an AED to its athletes during practices and games. AB 243, which is address confidentiality for victims of child abduction. This will expand current law to include victims of child abduction to the list of populations who are eligible for California's Save at Home Address Confidentiality Program. This passed the Judiciary Committee, and then it's referred to the Appropriations. And so that's just a quick little update on what's going on in Sacramento. If constituents need help with a state agency, so if the DMV, EDD, our office is available for anyone who needs help with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak tonight? No? All right. Move on to item number 8. Consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolution except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the June 27th, 2023 meetings. D, adopt resolution 2023 next to number, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement with Foster Farms LLC for 1643 Main Street, Stanislaus County Assessor's Parcel Number 128-009-080.
I move that we accept the consent calendar for this period.
I'll second.
We have a first and second. Go and vote. Oops. I jumped ahead of you there, Leroy. All right, revote, guys. I messed that up. Scott?
Oh, voted twice.
There we go. Motion carries 5-0. Sorry about that. That was my mistake. Public hearings, there's none tonight. Item number 10, regular business. City Council workshop to discuss residential growth. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. So originally, we had talked about having this meeting on the 18th, but due to a lack of items on tonight's agenda, I thought this was an appropriate time to go ahead and move this forward. Let me go ahead and move to the next. Again, so we're just going to talk about residential growth. We're not necessarily talking about any specific project in particular, but we need to talk about growth, in particular growth rate, and what that does to a community. And we have new members on the council that weren't a part of the general plan process. So we're going to kind of walk you through what the general plan is, how that plays into a part in terms of residential growth and development in the community. And then we'll see how that plays out over time when you make certain decisions as a council. So our general plan is called the Newman 2030 General Plan. And basically a general plan is a local government's blueprint for meeting the community's long-term vision for the future. It was in March of 2005 when we, as a community, started a general plan update. And that process lasted until April of 2007, when a new general plan, the Newman 2030 General Plan, was updated by the City Council and an EIR adopted. It was a pretty robust process. The process contained 11 members of the community that were selected by the council to sit on a steering committee. Those steering committee members listened to what the community said at 3 public workshops and then had to make some recommendations to the council. So again, we had 11 committee meetings and 3 public workshops that were all open to the public, and at which time the public could express some of the ideas and concepts that they liked. And then ultimately that steering committee did make that recommendation to the planning commission and then ultimately to the city council, and it was adopted in April of 2007. This is kind of like the big picture map here. So the area here, as we go up to the top, so this is Stir Road up on the top here, Stir Road down here, Draper Road's on this side. This is Hallowell/Sanchez down here, up to Canal School. We've got a county line here, Stanislaus and Merced County, if you can see that, and then here's Ferry. The yellow represents residential. This purple and pink down this area, this is kind of more of our industrial area here. This gray area is business park. You can see it here, it's light in through here, but this is pretty much our community commercial corridor along the highway there. The green area represents our planning area, and what that does is it basically puts the county on notice that these areas, while they're not necessarily in our sphere of influence, meaning sphere of influence is ultimately what we would grow to. If the city of Newman built out to its sphere of influence, we'd be about 40 to 42,000 people in size. The green areas surrounding it just kind of puts the county and other agencies on notice that that's kind of our planning area. Anything done in that area has a good impact on us, and we want to know about it. So if there's any big projects that are going in that green area there, the county is supposed to notify us of it, so we can make good comment on it. So as part of the general plan, you have goals and policies that are a part of it. Again, we're only really talking about the residential side, so there's two important general plan goals that I think still stand. And goal number 1 that the steering committee and the council decided was preserve Newman's traditional small town qualities while increasing residential and employment base. The goal number 2 was provide for orderly, well-planned, and balanced growth consistent with the limits imposed by the city's infrastructure and the city's ability to assimilate new growth. So as you can see through those goals, what the community told the council, the steering committee, and ultimately to the council, and they decided was they want to protect Newman's small town quality, and they don't want to grow robust. Really make sure that when we have growth, it's at a pace that we can handle. That's an infrastructure. So it's not just infrastructure, pipes, and roads, but it's also, staffing levels. And adding police officers or public works officers or office staff to accommodate all that growth, whether that's processing water bills, code enforcement, fixing water lines, mowing parks, maintaining landscape strips. There's a lot that goes into it. So making sure that what we're doing is at a pace that the city can manage. Under goals, there are policies as well, and these were the ones that fell under the goal number 2. The city will link the rate of growth in Newman to the provisions of adequate services and infrastructure, including school district support facilities, including the schools, district support facilities, roadways, police, fire, and medical services, and water and wastewater treatment infrastructure. So again, we're talking about services and infrastructure, right? Not just for the city, but also for the school district as well. Making sure that what we do as a community, we can handle any of the growth that comes with that and any of the demand for services. And again, whether that's the demand for more water, treating wastewater, additional parks, recreational services, soccer programs, and all the like, as well as the school district. As part of this, we had a planner from the city of Turlock come in, and they use a master plan process in Turlock. So the city liked that process. So under policy LU2, the city shall, through the use of master plans, ensure that the growth and development occur in an orderly and contiguous manner. And the bottom one, the city shall require preparation and approval of master plans for all newly developing areas shown in Figure LU4 prior to annexation and development of these areas. So again, what generally occurred right before this was there were a couple of projects that were annexed in the late 90s into the community. And while this was going on, those projects through market forces, and you guys all remember the growth that occurred in the early to mid 2000s, right? Well, in Newman, we were doing 150, 200 building permits a year, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So we saw this robust growth because we had annexed some land and we had all these lots here, about 700 lots or more. And it just got eaten through because of the housing situation that was occurring. Of course, we had the bust right after that, but so there were some things there that added to it that really caught fire on Newman, not just Newman, but the rest of the valley as well. So that is why I think the community came back and said, hey, council, we don't want you building subdivisions anymore. We want you building neighborhoods. So that's why the master plan process came about. A master plan is also called a specific plan, but it really talks about how that neighborhood is going to develop, what the infrastructure is going to look like, what the streetscapes look like, what is the architectural details or what the architectural standards are for the residential area, where the school site's going to be, how it's going to develop, when it's going to develop. There's a lot of infrastructure. Who's going to pay for the infrastructure, how it's going to be paid for, because there's an infrastructure financing plan. There's a lot of information that goes into those master plans. So as part of that process, as you can see here, the steering committee and ultimately the council adopted this map which identifies 10 master plan areas. And so those would be neighborhoods, right? You're saying, okay, if you're in this particular area, you need to do a master plan and develop a master plan for this particular area. Now, Area 3 is what's called the Northwest Newman City, and worked with developers and did a master plan for that. That would be an example of a master plan area. So as we break out all these things, I just wanted to give you kind of a foundation of how the city looks at development through the eyes of the general plan. Now we're going to talk a little bit about like growth and what projects we already are in process or already approving or have already approved. So this is our existing inventory as well as some of the projects that are online. So approved, we have the Matos Ranch 1 project. It's 106 lots. That's the project that's on Prince Road that has like 12 feet of dirt, raised above. I'm just teasing. So that's 106 lots. That's approved. They've already pulled permits. Probably going to see foundations poured any day now if they're not already being poured.
There.
Yeah, they just recently got their transformer and they got their subdivision electrified. T Street, that's the one that crossed from the skate park. 10 lots there, already approved. And then on Real Avenue, we have 8 lots. I have a map after this. I'm going to show you where all those are at. In process, we have Matos Ranch 2. There's a second phase to what's already out there. We have a CEQA document that's already been completed and already been routed out to all the agencies. It's only waiting to go to Planning Commission, then ultimately probably to the City Council. And then we have Caton Ranch. Caton Ranch is an annexation project, 20 acres across the street from the Matos Ranch project. They already have a EIR The annexation has gone through Planning Commission. They're fine tuning the subdivision map. And that'll go to the Planning Commission, then ultimately that package of the annexation and subdivision will come to the City Council on there as well. And then lastly, we have Northwest Newman and that master plan. As part of that master plan, as you can see there, this is a breakdown of the residential units in there. There's 1,118 low-density residential. And when we say low-density, we're talking, the traditional single-family kind of housing. There's a multifamily project that shows 180 units on the multifamily project. And then on the westernmost up against the canal, there's some very low density, which is going to be kind of a gated estate kind of living, maybe, quarter to third acre lots, semi-custom kind of housing, 55 acres. So when you look at all these projects together, we got about an inventory of about 1,600 lots right now, 1,630 lots out there. So when we looked at, let's convert that, what does 1,631 lots mean to the community? In Newman, we use 3.4 residents per unit, per house. So when you add those all up, you can see Manos Ranch is equals to 360, T's 334, Rail 27. You can go all the way down. The medium density, the high density, we only use 3 units, 3 people to the unit. That's why you see 180 equals 540. But what we're looking at is a population growth of about just under 5,500 people. We're at 12,000 right now. So when that all grows out, we're at 17.5 in terms of a population. So I just wanted to give you, in case you didn't know, these are where the projects are. Up here on top, Northwest Newman, up at Stir, right? Stir coming down Highway 33, Sherman Parkway and Jensen Road. Right above that, or right below that, is the Real Avenue. It's right at the end of Real Avenue. The street extends into that area. It's 8 lots, small little infill project there. T Street, that's the one that's across from the skate park. Again, 10 lots that's under construction right now. Matters Ranch is down here on the bottom. It's in the yellow. That one's under construction. It's 106 lots. Immediately east of that is a phase 2. That's at 42 lots. And then Caton Ranch is the magenta colored one here. Again, that's an annexation. 20 acres, 112 lots. Again, the environmental is completely been routed on that one as well. So you can see I just want to give you an idea of where those lots would be developing over time. So now, I just want to give you a historical perspective of what's occurred in Newman. So I'm using the Department of Finance numbers, and Lou tells me not to because they're a little whacked, but we keep them anyways because that's the best thing we got. So in the year 2000, the Department of Finance said we were just under 7,100. But you can see where growth really started, right? We did 7,443, 7,445, and then it really started jumping up. Look at where we went from 2003. We went from 7,600 to 2008, where we went to 10,000. That was that real growth spurt we talked about, right? We had Stevens Ranch going on. We had Hearthstone Ranch going on. We had Sherman Ranch going on. Creek Bridge was going on. There was a lot of projects going on there. And so it was a perfect storm in the valley and throughout the country, extremely low interest rates. So you can see how we really climbed up there and jumped up pretty high. So, that's almost a 50% growth in just under a decade. But then the market turned, right? Things started slowing down, and you can start seeing how in Newman things really started slowing down. We're at 10.2. Today we're at 12, just over 12,000. So you can look at it a couple different ways. You look at that first part, we had a lot of growth that occurred, right, in the early first decade. But then we slowed down. And so what does that work out to be? It really works out to be a 2.3, 3 is what it came out to be, just over 3.3% growth rate over that period of time. But if you would have evened it out the whole way, you can see where the numbers jump. We wouldn't have hit 10,000 until 2015, if you actually did 2.3 per year. So, it's a little skewed on there, but I think the point we're trying to make is you guys that have been here a long time remember what it looked like in the early 2000s, what it looks like today. And there's a lot more housing, there's more traffic, there's a lot more that comes along with that. And you can kind of see how the growth rate looks there. So really what we want to talk about is what do you consider a sustainable growth rate? And, we've been doing pretty well. We've been able to attract some retailers, Dollar General's there, Arco's in town now. Now we have Taco Bell, so AutoZone. So we've been getting some attention already. So if we started today at 1240, what does it look like if you do it at different growth rates, right? So I went all the way out to 2050. And so you can look at different things. If you look at, again, at 2%, by the year 2030, we're at 13.8, and not too bad. You'd go over 15,000 in between, right around 2035, a dozen years from now. We would probably go over about 15. That's a kind of a threshold. Things kind of change in your community when you go right above 15. But if you go to 2.33, now you're at 15 in 2033, a couple years earlier. But you can see how it changes. 2.5%, we're at 2032. If you were doing 4%, you'd be, before the decade's over, you'd already be over 15,000. That's a big difference, a 5-year difference. And then you guys all know about compounding, compounding growth, and especially if you, look at investments, right? And if you look at the rule 30 or 72, is an investment rule. So you take the interest rate, you divide the 72 by the interest rate, and that's how long it takes you to double at that interest rate. So at 2%, we would double in 36 years. 4%, we would double our population in 18 years. So you would already be at 25,000 people in 18 years. So that'd be 2040, 2041. The different colors represent different things. Again, I think these are just milestone numbers. 15,000 is yellow, shows where you would hit 20,000 in orange, where you would hit 25,000 in green, and then the last two, you would hit 30,000 before 2050 on there. So, and then I highlighted again the 2.33 that shows if you continue at a rate of 2.33, where would you be in 10 years? Where would you be in 20 years? And it kind of shows some numbers there. Again, 15,000 would be 2033. We don't know. Housing markets are cyclical, right? We all know, we've all kind of, if you've been around in Newman for a while, you've seen growth come, then it slows down, and it comes again, and it slows down, and it goes to a stop. With the interest rates going up, how is that going to affect it? We don't know. How's the economy going to change? We don't know. But we do know that there's a low inventory of housing in California. But can people continue to afford these high prices for homes at these high interest rates? We don't know. It could dry up on that one. So the next question is, if we have 1,600 homes, how big of an inventory do we have? How many years? Again, it just depends on what your growth rate is. So 2%, 1,600 homes, take you to about 2040. If you have 1,600 homes, 2039 over there at 2.33. So you can see, again, how our interest rates affect our growth. We have anywhere from at the highest rate of 4%. I mean, you can go higher than that, but I don't think the council's got any interest in actually going higher than that, but I could be wrong.
even at 4%, where, in 2032, you still have 10 years worth of inventory. If you decide, in this range of, that 2.3 to 2.5% range, you still have 15 years of inventory, 12 to 15 years of inventory just on the projects that we're processing right now. So it's kind of my comments in there, and I didn't really have a real reason for this, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this because we're gonna, as things start changing, we need to make sure that as your staff that we're following your lead. So I guess my question is, the 1,600 lot inventory, are you guys feeling good about that? If we continue to shoot for that, we'll just call it 2.5% range. Is that a range that is good for you? And 2.5% means, we're doing 90. We'll probably get into 100 lots per year. That enough to help our residents continue to buy a home and people who want to move here continue to buy a home? Is enough to keep up with, when we get our business park in line, maybe we start getting some growth there. You can always adjust accordingly if you're starting to get some growth coming in here. But even at 2.5%, again, we're looking at a 15-year inventory of what we're talking about there. So when we talk like infrastructure-wise, mostly Public Works Director and I, we do, and we talk to our engineer. We plan a lot for around that 2.5% growth rate. And we tell our engineers, like when you're looking at some engineering, master planning, 2.5% is a rate that we think is something that's sustainable. Because we don't want to just grow to grow.
Right.
Just to grow, that's the mentality of cancer. We want to develop. We want to develop as a community. We want to continue to evolve as a community. I had this talk with the council over a decade ago. And what we talked about was, and right now we're 12,000, right? Just think even if you're a 12-year-old person right now, you still got a lot of development, a lot of growth to occur, right? But if you start making decisions when you're 12 about what you want to be when you're 20, you got a much better chance of being there. Right. If you just want to go through life and just doing what to do, not really plan for your life, you're going to hit 20 and you're not really going to have a goal of what you wanted to be, right? You're just going to be 20. There are communities like Livermore and Patterson, or Livermore and Pleasanton that used to be over the hill, right? They used to be the cities over the hill from the Bay Area, but at some point they made a decision of what they wanted to be. They wanted to be a nice community, so they started investing in quality development and making sure the development that comes in is quality, pays for itself, brings amenities, helps and lifts the city, improve the city, and take it to another level. I think if we continue to do that as a community, the sky's going to be the limit for us, and we're going to be the outstanding community that we're currently known as in Stanislaus County. So, anyway, that's kind of my presentation. I'm just here to answer any questions that you may have. Again, I'm not. I guess the question would be, do you think I'm out of touch with the council in terms of what we're looking at in terms of growth?
So
And kind of a growth rate.
the things that I've heard from the community, from people I talk to, is we want to maintain the slow growth. We don't want to blow up like Patterson did and have Patterson issue and things thrown everywhere. And that's what I've always felt we need to maintain. There has to be growth. You have to have growth or you get stale and die out. And there's a lot of people that I know that want to return to the community but can't because we don't have enough homes. So we have to have maintained growth but slow growth. That's quality, and that invests in the city that we want, like you said, that has nice parks, that brings in stuff that people want to be able to be a part of, and the communities that are nice. I just don't want buildings that are thrown up that the houses start to fall apart in 5 years. That happens. What's the build out and the interest in the Northwest Newman? What's like a build out date kind of?
Yeah, they submitted something to us. I'm sorry, I didn't bring that because I wasn't talking about individual projects. But what I can tell you is we're actively pursuing a pre-annexation agreement right now. So I anticipate a pre-annexation agreement coming to you soon, and then they would annex the rest of Northwest Newman, moving from Bigling out westward. And they'd probably do that, submit that to you either in the fall this year or early next year.
And the general plan, that was something that was voted on by the community at the end, wasn't it?
So ultimately, what happened was through the 3 public workshops, the community told the steering committee what they want. Steering committee relayed that message to the council, and the council ultimately approved it. That's how the community was involved.
With 7 years being left on that, less than 7 years, we probably should start thinking about potentially redoing that to extend that out as a further.
Yes, that's probably something I think we probably, as a community, need to think about in the next year or two, is starting that process. It's an expensive one. But yeah, that's something. I think there's good bones in the general plan. I don't think it needs an overhaul. The last time we did it, we didn't add any additional land. I think the master plan concept is still solid. I think it's still relevant. I think we just pretty much need to catch us up to what state law says now.
I think the numbers and the percentages are right in line in terms of what we talked about 4 or 5 years ago in terms of slow growth, number one. Number two is that my mind thought has always been economic development and keeping the dollars in the city of Newman. And in order for us to keep those dollars from going to Patterson, going to Turlock, and all the other surrounding cities, we have to be able to develop a mechanism that's going to keep our dollars in the city of Newman. I think we're on course. I think you're doing a heck of a job in terms of the numbers and the percentages for a slow growth in terms. But the housing is going to be the key plan for the city of Newman in terms of its economic growth factor. So in saying that, I'm agreeing with these numbers that's there. We're looking at maybe a 10-year period in terms of a growth, in terms of bringing it to, I would say, somewhere along between 13,000, 14,000 if these homes are built in that period of time, to where we could basically stay on course in terms of the slow growth with those numbers that we have seen this evening. So in saying all that, I think that if we stay the course in terms of where we're at now, we could basically probably be at those numbers within 10 years. And like I said, and I'll stress this point, is that the slow growth is good, but we have to be able to come up with a mechanism that's going to keep our dollars in the city of Newman. And therefore, we're going to have to make sure, like you said earlier, when these homes are built, that we basically are able to furnish the new residents that are coming into the city of Newman with even jobs, or making sure that we have shopping centers, that basically are going to accommodate in terms of keeping those dollars within the city of Newman.
And one thing I think to kind of build upon what council member said, our first phase in Northwest Newman, that's all business park land. So, the engineering is under design. We believe in 24, we're going to bring, the water, sewer across to that business park land. We're going to have 2 lanes on Jensen Road, so it can be travel safe, much safer than it can now. It's going to open up that business park land for potential development in terms of jobs.
Anybody else have any comments? Okay. Well, with that, there's no action needed on this item.
No, thank you.
Item 11, items from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor. Good evening, Supervisor Condit.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. It's an honor to be here with you all this evening. I just have a quick update. After much progress and months, we finally got Hills Ferry Bridge open. So I know that was something me and the mayor had talked about quite extensively, as well as a lot of our residents here on the west side were having issues traveling about the community. So that was quite a burden. And thankfully it is open, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to keep it open, as well as keeping our residents safe. And on that topic, there's actually plans to redo the bridge. Construction is anticipated to start next year, around this time actually, and hopefully we will have an opening in 2025. So we're definitely anticipating that, as we know that bridge has got some wear and tear to it, and honestly hasn't had very many improvements through the years. So it's definitely going to be a much needed improvement for our West Side residents out here, so that they can obviously freely travel the community and not have to, cut in and out on other areas. So that's going to be great. I also have been exploring opportunities for doing a community dump day sponsored by the county. I know Fire Chief Bowen has been a part of our dump dates throughout the west side, from Wesley the Grayson to Crow's Landing. Him and his explorers have been wonderful volunteers in those endeavors. And we actually were successful in doing a sponsored dump day in the city of Ceres. Now, how we did that is we identified a county pocket within the city limit, and we were successfully able to do a county-sponsored dump day that also benefited the city and the city residents. And that's something that we have to be sort of creative on, because obviously if the county is going to sponsor something, it needs to be in a county location. And so I would honestly probably like to work with the council and the city manager, and maybe identifying a county pocket that's also, our county island, I guess is more appropriate, that is in the city's limit or sphere, that we can get Burralotti to do a rotation dump from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. on a Saturday. And essentially we would get rid of everybody's trash and debris through those hours. And we've done about 13 to 14 of these and since I've taken office. And again, Chief Bowen has been a great volunteer, and I know he can speak to the success and the need for it in our community, especially in our unincorporated areas. But our philosophy is by doing this county-sponsored dump day, it decreases blight and illegal dumping throughout our county and helps beautify our counties, and that way a farmer doesn't have to go pick up a mattress in an orchard. And it also saves people who might have to pay a fee to go and drive, spend gas money, and drive to Fink Road to dump at the landfill. So we've been doing these the last 3 years, and we hope to bring it to Newman. We just have to be a little bit creative in finding a location. So I look forward to communicating with you guys and doing that. And maybe we can aim for definitely the cooler months. Maybe we can aim for late September or October. So I look forward to working with you guys on that, and happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Yeah, dump day is a great idea. Farmers get hit with everything from everywhere because nobody knows where to take it, and that. So I think that's a great idea. I appreciate that. Any update on Crow's Landing Air Base?
So maybe a month or so ago, the county actually invested $12 million of our ARPA funding into the air base. And this is going towards phase 1. That will go towards our getting our infrastructure in place and ready. We are actively recruiting a master developer again. I don't know if you recall, but we did have a master developer at one time. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, that relationship is no more, but we are still moving forward. We're proceeding forward and getting the infrastructure in place. Again, we made a $12 million investment. So you will start seeing some dirt turning over. I know we've been patiently waiting that project for many, many years. We want to make sure it's the right fit for this community. I know there's been some sour grapes in the past with a past developer. We want to make sure it's the right fit, it's the right model for our community and for our residents. And so we are going to be selective and finding the right master developer with the right vision that is fitting for our county and for the future of our county. So we are still working diligently on that. But there is investment being made, and obviously this is the #1 county project on everybody's mind, and that goes for all of my colleagues. I mean, this is the most attractive site, being that it's county-owned, and it's also 2,000 acres plus, and the possibilities are limitless out there. Now, in the meantime, I have made a recommendation to our county staff that we carve out 40 acres of that 2,000 acres plus for a Tier 4, Tier 5 trauma center. So that will show our health providers that the county does have skin in the game, that we are serious about locating a full-fledged hospital one day, whether that is 5 to 10 years from now. That's neither here nor there, but it's a recruiting tool for us as a county to go to a health provider and say, hey, we have 40 acres carved out and we own the land and we're ready to go. I guess pivoting off of that point, we have made some progress, and this is more pertaining to the city of Patterson, but again, the west side, as we all know, has a tremendous need for healthcare. But we have made significant progress in attracting a partnership between the Del Portal Healthcare District and Sutter Gold, where Sutter essentially would operate their personnel and their equipment out of the footprint for Del Portal Healthcare District. And this will be after hours. This will be on the weekend. Is it going to be 24 hours? No, not initially at least. But this is going to be, again, a county, I guess a private county nonprofit kind of collaboration between those two entities in the county. And it's something that obviously I've been beating the drum about for the last 3 years, and the entire West Side has been beating the drum about for the last 20 plus years. But this is a small step towards attracting a full-fledged health provider. We hope to have this deal finalized in the next couple months. We are going to be having a meeting to finalize that, and we are going to be sending an invitation out to the mayor and the city manager to attend. And we will have HealthNet there. We'll have the health partners of San Joaquin. We will have Del Portal Healthcare District, and we will have Sutter Gold, as well as the county representatives and the mayor of Patterson and the city manager of Patterson to kind of finalize that deal. And then hopefully we're anticipating having a full-fledged rollout in 2024, where we will actually have after-hours healthcare services that is a step above urgent care. They're talking about doing imaging, possible dialysis. We're looking at maybe doing an MRI. But again, it's going to be elevated services. Is it a full-fledged hospital? No, but it is a step in the right direction, and it's progress. And I think with that and being able to leverage the 40 acres, I think in due time, I mean, especially we're talking about growth here tonight, growth in Patterson, growth in Crow's Landing, Wesley, and Grayson. It's only a matter of time before we actually get a full-fledged health provider out and getting a trauma center in the future. So I guess I went a little over than I anticipated, but I'm happy to answer any further questions if you have any.
Don't forget Gustine on your west side. I mean, I know it's part of Merced County, but they'll feed into that.
Lloyd Prayer
same
would appreciate
hospital.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yes, you're right. And that's why this health care center is going to attract people outside our county. It's going to attract everybody. So you're absolutely right, Mr. Mayor.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you working on that. I know it's been a long process that you've been working on, and it's exciting to see it move forward.
Absolutely. We're very excited.
Let me say this is that I'm going to be going on 18 years here in the county. One of my first contracts was the West Park Project. And that's how I got to know a lot of the farmers, and even city manager Mike Harlan, is that by us being consultants for that project. It's a long time coming.
Yes.
I pray that God Almighty allows me to be around when that project is not just groundbreaking, but finished. Because the things that we talked about me and DeMartini, in terms of a trauma center, is so vital. You know, even the mayor and I, you know, spoke earlier about, you know, a trauma center, how important it is for the West Side.
Yes.
If something happens on Highway 5, you got to bring in a helicopter
Yes.
to take these people. We need that. That's so important. Even I know that the business park is going to bring a lot of businesses. I think that that particular part of the 40 acres that you're talking out of, you know, set aside
Yes.
is so important that it's not only going to enhance those businesses,
Yes.
but it's just going to enhance the whole West Side.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to that, and I really appreciate you. I know that a lot of politics is involved with that, but the key to it is this, is that you're working so hard in terms of bringing that to fruition, and I sure appreciate that, Hawk.
Well, thank you, Councilmember. And yeah, the unfortunate truth about government is success is measured by inches, not miles.
Right.
And we got to fight for every inch. And that's what we're doing, and we're going to keep doing that. And I know that we have Ramel Singh Highway coming soon, Highway 33, Senator Alvarado Gil got that done, and we're very excited about that and looking forward to the ribbon cutting out here in Newman.
Great.
All right,
Any word if the sign came in yet? I know we were waiting to hear back if that was here, around.
I have not heard if the signs come in yet, but I think we're working on a date if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're trying to find the signs to come in. Last I heard was July 3rd. We hadn't heard the signs had not come in. I think we met in like May
Yeah.
about this whole thing. So, and now we're on July 3rd, and they were supposed to come in, I think, a week later in May. So,
It's hard to put a date on it because the signs have to be proofread, because it sounds like Captain
Right.
said, sometimes they come back
Gotta go to
completely
SAC.
wrong.
Again, it's those inches we fight for, right?
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you
Greatly
so much.
appreciate it. Items from city manager and staff. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to invite the council members and the members of the public this Thursday night at 6 p.m. We're having a Parks and Recreation Master Plan meeting. Basically, we're soliciting information and comments from the community on what they want in their parks, existing and future parks, what kind of amenities they like, what do they like about our parks, what do they don't like about our parks. So that, again, the first kickoff meeting will be a Zoom meeting. All the information is on our website. We've been advertising in the Tuesday Review and the Wednesday paper for last week and this week. Quarter page ads, if you haven't seen them, they're out there. So we've been trying to get our word out to get as many people interested in this as possible. We want the community to tell us how to develop the parks in the future. So again, this Thursday, the 13th at 6 p.m.
We have that on social media.
We do have it on social media. We do have it on social media and in the newspapers. So, and then there'll be a survey that's going to last, I don't know, about 30 to 45 days after that. For people who can attend on that particular meeting, there's still an opportunity to participate. So we're excited about that. Excited to announce that, there are grubbers, earth movers out at the Canal School Inyo News Project and Wetlands Project out there. That project is moving forward. We have broken ground on that. So they'll do the wetlands first, and then they're going to start excavating some dirt, probably in August. That's going to be a busy time because there's 100,000 cubic yards of dirt being hauled out of there. It's a lot of truckloads, thousands of truckloads of dirt being hauled out of there. So it's going to be busy. As you can see, we're in construction on the Inyo intersection. They're going to build the one half, and then they're going to try to go over to the other side on that one. And then lastly, I know a project that's always been near and dear to the mayor's heart. I think August 14th, right around there, is the day we'll be breaking ground on Inyo Canal School. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's about a 60-day construction period on that one. We got to dig down like 24 inches, of excavation. I think there's 40,000 yards of dirt coming out of that spot. So we're going to dig down 24 inches, put in 18 inches of base rock, compact it, and then put 6 inches of asphalt above it. So that's going to be a great project, though, and that'll take us basically from Saputo out to Canal School, and then Canal School up to Hills Ferry. So I know that's been a sore spot for a lot of people for a lot of years, and it's taken a long time to get there, but we're excited to announce that I think it's the 14th or the 15th of August. It looks like the 14th we'll be kicking off on that one. So, and then the developer, as part of his contract, has to notify all those people in that neighborhood. They're going to be disrupted for 60 days, but the developer will be giving them notice and rerouting them. So, with that, I can answer any questions you may have.
I actually have a question on that. Are they hooked up to city water?
Is who hooked up to city water?
The people on Inyo right there, because that's kind of that's county. One side's county, isn't it?
Yes, some of them have hooked up. We've provided laterals to them. Some have chosen to get in it now, but all of them have laterals, so we don't have to tear that up later if that's your question. Yes.
Good deal. Thank you.
I have a quick question. Do we have any update in terms of the ARCO, or when are they going to be opening?
We don't. Again, it's them, health department. I think PG&E just got their encroachment permit. I want to say the 15th, 14th this week. Like PG&E is coming out to do some energizing of their site, so they're close.
Oh.
They're very, very close. As you can see, they put the landscaping in.
Right.
You're not putting the landscaping in unless you're ready to open. It's always one of the final last touches. So.
And you mentioned in reference to the project on 33 at Inyo, you did notify the businesses in that area?
Oh, of course. Yeah, they've been in constant contact with them.
Okay, are they up, are you guys constantly, I know when I was up in the Bay Area, you know, when projects hit the street and it's infecting, you know, businesses, we have coordinators that would go around to the businesses and give them updates in terms of where they at, how long they're going to be dealing with the impact of the project. Is there people out there, I guess, just updating the businesses?
And one of those property owners is Kern Honeywell. If you're not out there talking in Kern Honeywell, he's going to be on you. So yeah, we're out there talking to them, letting them know, giving them a schedule, making sure, you know, their needs are being met.
Oh, great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Allie?
Mayor, council members, just a small update. We started Fit Kids. This is our second weekend. I'd like to thank Keith and the fire department who went out there today and had a good time. Got some good old sweat with the kids running around and doing some fire activities with our children in our community. In front of you is information about this weekend's movie night. It will be a little bit hot, but if you guys are interested in coming on out there, our movie starts at dusk. We're taking it back to a classic, The Sandlot. So if your children or anybody who hasn't watched it, it's a great classic baseball movie. It will take place at Sherman Park at 7 p.m. and the snack bar will open at 7. If you're interested in some good hot dogs, hamburgers, come on down, bring the family, share the word with the community. With that, I can answer any questions that y'all may have.
Are the hamburger hot dogs free?
They're at a smaller cost than our regular McDonald's and other franchises out there. But they can be free if you want to come and cook with us.
It's going to be a hot night.
It'll be a hot one. With that, I can answer any other questions.
Thank you, Allie.
Thank you.
Sergeant Williams, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I don't have much for you, just 2 events to let you know about. This Saturday, before Allie's event, July 15th, our animal control officer will be out at Pioneer Park from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. For a free microchip event. They'll be implanting your dogs only with free microchips from that time frame. It's open to Newman residents only, so if you could bring some proof of residency. And please, to comply with the leash law, keep your dog on a leash. The other event that's coming up the week after is July 22nd. From noon to 6 p.m., Officer Murillo is going to be out at Nob Hill Foods for the Stuff the Cruiser event. It's almost back to school time. Sorry, kids. Anybody who's had kids, been around kids, nieces, nephews, if you have your own, anything. You know how expensive back-to-school time can be. He's been working with Nob Hill Foods, obviously, and then the Family Resource Center. They will be out there as well to collect school supplies. They will be distributed to families in need in town. We'll be working with the Family Resource Center to make that happen. They will get first priority. So hope to see you there. Anybody who can't make the event, you want to contribute to your community, we have drop-off bins at the police department. They put them out yesterday. And there will also be a drop-off bin at Nob Hill Foods. So hope to see you all. Otherwise, that's it.
Thank you, Sergeant. Appreciate that. Lou?
Nothing to report tonight, but happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Chief Bowen?
Well, it doesn't seem like you guys are going to be surprised, but there's a heat wave coming. Yeah. So prepare now, bring your pets in, think about those that you may not have talked to, older family members and all that, and just keep in touch with them. We'll be out. It's going to have an increase in fire weather, so we might stay busy. 4th of July, we did see a huge increase in our call volume over that weekend. We wrote 3 citations for illegal fireworks. And then we did participate in Fit Kids, which is a fun event. And I think it's actually a better time for the firefighters than for the kids. Yeah. So, I can answer any other questions you guys might have.
Be safe, it's going to be hot.
I'd like to say this, as I left here on Friday, going to the Bay Area, short sleeve, shorts. I got up into San Francisco area, no sun, clouds, and freezing.
It's quick out there.
Right. Always carry a coat.
Pro Tem?
Nothing to add tonight, just thank you to staff for your reports.
No?
Nothing either. Have a blessed evening.
Okay.
I have nothing for tonight.
Nothing.
All right. With that, thank you, everybody, for your participation. We appreciate it. Thank you for the report, Michael. Have a good weekend and try to stay cool. I ask for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
First, do we have second?
Second.